Chapter 7 Collaborative Theory. In 2004, George Siemens, the founder of connectivism, proclaimed it to be the learning theory for the digital age, without engaging in the necessary rigors to demonstrate how learning actualized. This ultimately led to the development of the collaborative theory. In the early 1980s, soon after the invention of computer communication, primarily email and computer conferencing, online collaborative learning activities began. The new and expanding opportunities for extensive communication and collaboration among a diverse group of peers and instructors have been the major educational benefits of computer networking. Rapid technological advancement pose major challenges and risks to education, including online education. The greatest problem is a lack of appreciation and understanding of online education, value, and its potential to create a future based on enlightened principles of social well-being, civil society, and equitable global advancement. The major myth being propagated is that educational access and quality is primarily an issue of technology rather than pedagogy. Technology is being viewed as superior to pedagogy and teachers. Educators need to understand the different learning theories that frame educational practice to meet the new challenges in education. The ability to understand and speak about the implications of different learning theories, technologies, pedagogies, epistemologies is key to emphasizing the valuable role of the educational professional. In the 1950s and 1960s, the invention of the computer and computer networking triggered new visions about the ways to collaborate, to build knowledge, and to work. In the 1970s and 80s, efforts to develop group communication environments based on computer conferencing emerged, and the first online course was delivered entirely via the internet. In the 1990s, a dramatic shift in public recognition and perception of online education occurred due to an increase in public internet access. It gradually became viewed as valid and beneficial. In the 2000s, online education was finally recognized by academic leaders as a field with important potential. There are three distinct online learning modules: collaborativism, online distant education, online courseware, whose approaches each use the internet for education, but in significantly different ways and with major differences in learning theory, pedagogies, and technologies. Collaborativism, for example, places significant attention on the role of the teacher with emphasis on student discourse and collaboration. Online distant education uses a correspondence model of course delivery, self-study, and individualized communication with the tutor. Online courseware is based on individualized learning controlled by computers, increasingly using AI without instructor or peer instruction.
Collaborativist theory is also often referred to as online collaborative learning theory, or OCL, and defines learning as intellectual convergence of ideas among members of a knowledge community. Both constructivism and OCL recognize the value of social interaction in the learning process. However, OCL focuses much more on the role of discourse in knowledge construction. This is because discourse is what most allows for the collaboration and social interaction necessary for knowledge construction to take place. Such intentional collaboration has been defined by anthropologists as the essence of humankind and the core of civilization as we know it today. Further, there are many who suggest that it is collaborative discourse which leads to the ability to think critically. These individuals describe such critical thought as internal discourse with oneself, which is enhanced as a result of collaborative discourse in social learning environments. The foundational ideals of OCL include collaboration, discourse, and the mutual construction of knowledge. Again, here we see the parallels between constructivism and OCL. Aside from the increased value placed on discourse, another major difference between the two learning theories is that OCL takes place entirely in an online setting. Thus, the nature of discourse and social interaction is vastly different, as it occurs most often through forums, blogs, email, webinars, text messages, and other digital communication mediums. There are three key processes which must occur in order to facilitate learning within OCL. The first process, idea generating, refers to brainstorming, verbalizing one's thoughts, and generating questions. In this phase, many perspectives are offered and no idea is a bad idea. The objective is to get as much on the table as possible. This process is referred to as divergent thinking. The second process, idea organizing, is the act of clarifying and clustering the many ideas previously generated into a subset of the best ideas. The final process entails the mutual construction of a knowledge product or solution. This can take the shape of an agreed-upon ideal or set of ideals, agreeing to disagree, or a tangible product such as a paper or a presentation. This process is referred to as convergent thinking. This visual, found on page 123 of the Harrison book, depicts the progression of the three processes. In each phase, you see a bird's eye view of three individuals facing one another. In the first phase, you see small spheres, which represent various ideas being put forth by each of the individuals in the group. In the second phase, we see that some of these ideas have been discarded, while others have been combined into larger spheres representing multiple ideas being combined into one cohesive idea. Finally, we see the large spheres combined into an even larger sphere with a Venn diagram inside of it. This represents one cohesive, mutually agreed upon conclusion which contains the overlapping inputs from all members of the knowledge community. It is important to point out that there is a vast difference between cooperative learning and collaborative learning. This difference is well articulated by Harrison on page 121. Cooperative learning can most easily be described as a simple division of labor, much like what most of us have probably been doing to complete the group assignments in this class. Collaborative learning entails a group of individuals mutually constructing meaning-making structures. The entire process is a collaboration of minds. This is not to discredit the value of cooperative learning or the division of labor approach in any way. These concepts are without a doubt valid and beneficial. However, it is important to point out the distinction between these two types of learning, as the processes governing each are quite different. So, how does OCL manifest itself in the classroom? The teacher, rather than being a sage on a stage or a guide on the side, acts as a gateway into a specific knowledge community. It is their responsibility to equip the learners with the specific vocabulary and linguistic skills necessary to effectively communicate with other members of the knowledge community. In doing so, these learners can then leave the classroom either as professionals in their field, or mathematically minded, historically minded, sociologically minded individuals, and so on, depending on their field of study. Students must actively engage in the three processes of collaborative discourse. Learn to apply the analytical language associated with their discipline, and strive to become members of the knowledge community by learning the language and adhering to the accepted norms.
Online technologies can play a major role in education, and it is essential for educators to examine the trends of online learning technology, not only in its present state, but also for future impacts and implications. These technologies facilitate a pedagogy that users can construct knowledge and meaning rather than just repeating or receiving information. Online learning should also support activities like discussions, role plays, seminars, or group projects. The need for tools that supported collaborative learning and knowledge building was first recognized in the 1980s, and online learning environments were created that supported and encouraged collaborative learning were developed in the 1990s. Virtual U was one of the first online environments designed with a specific pedagogical vision and framework that guided software design. It was designed to support collaborative learning and knowledge. It also provided several tools for teachers and individuals that could be customized and allow many students to participate at once. The following list are communication features listed under the Virtual U web-based learning system. Collaborative environments, which also include discussion boards, are characterized by discourse by 5 attributes. The first is place-independent discourse, allowing learners to have access in remote areas. The second is time-independent discourse, where participants have access 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week. This allows participants to work at their own pace. The third is many-to-many discourse, which allows participants to create a diversity of ideas and feedback with topics of discussion. The fourth attribute is text-based, which requires writing. This can be seen visibly and can also assist with improving ideas. The last attribute is internet-mediated discourse, which provides us with resources and new perspectives. Technology has been developed to benefit and advance humanity. These are the forces that created the social, cultural, and professional knowledge sharing and building communities. Educators are put in place to ensure that changes head in the right direction. Chapter 7 introduced collaborativism, formerly known as online collaborative learning, as a theory and framework for technological design, effective online learning tools, and provided information as to why online learning in the 21st century is so essential. New tools and environments are necessary for the improvement of learning activities, but teachers must see the writing on the wall and change their pedagogies to remain relevant in the 21st century knowledge age.